Welcome to Contemporary Retirement. Contemporary Retirement is a public interest program focused on the retirement community. Every program has segments on legal, financial, and health issues affecting the retirement community. Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a major grant from the Family Heritage Trust Company.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored by Family Heritage Trust Company. The Family Heritage Trust Company is an independent bank chartered trust company established by local professionals to provide fiduciary services, including fee-based investment advice, trust services, retirement planning, and tax planning. The Family Heritage Trust Company is committed to client service in our communities. For more information, call the Family Heritage Trust Company at 301-631-5900.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a grant from R. Thomas Murphy & Associates, P.C. R. Thomas Murphy & Associates is one of Franklin County's leading law firms, emphasizing estate, trust, elder law, and medical assistance planning.
Welcome to the Is It Legal feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various legal issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Tom Murphy from the R. Thomas Murphy Law Firm with offices in Waynesboro, Chambersburg, and McConnellsburg. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning, Mike.
Tom, we spent the last couple of weeks talking about powers of attorney and also talking about the fact that people taking them off the internet or using attorneys who are not highly qualified in elder law results in some real significant traps.
Right, and so you might have a valid power of attorney, but it may be inadequate to do the advanced planning at the time you really need it. And so you need to deal with a properly executed and prepared power of attorney in order to deal with those challenges.
And one of the great challenges that we have here is that you might have an old Pennsylvania power of attorney, which there was absolutely nothing wrong with, but it's almost unusable in today's environment.
Absolutely. You might have inadequate language, or you might have these triggers that required proof of incapacity, or things that are virtually impossible, and all the big banks, brokers, and everybody else want to see them.
Plus, they want to see that standardized form. If they don't see that standardized form, which is not actually standardized because you customize it,
right,
but at least it looks like the standardized form, many of these financial institutions will not take it.
Exactly. Their legal department has said, this is what it must say. If it doesn't say these magic words, well, then it's no good, even though it may be still valid.
Well, that's what happened in Maryland. The lawyers went to the legislature to get a document that these money center financial institutions had to accept.
Right.
The problem is that we got a standardized form jammed down our throats, which was okay, but it's not adequate to do everything that we do. And even though the statute says pre-2010 powers of attorney were as valid as they ever were, the fact of the matter is anybody that's got a pre-2010 power of attorney in Maryland, I want to emphasize pre-2010 power of attorney in Maryland, if that person has capacity, it needs to be redone in order to get the protections of the state of Maryland standing behind it.
Right, and that's an excellent point. Of all the documents, the power of attorney is the one that needs to be looked at frequently and updated to keep up with all the changes that go on all the time.
And these financial institutions really micromanage the documents. So we tend to want to look at them every 3 to 4 years, update, you have a child that got married, you want to update that power of attorney to have the appropriate name on it. One of the things that we do in our powers of attorney is we oftentimes see married women have flip-flop between their maiden name and their middle name on their birth certificate during various times of their life. So we actually write that thing so it has the power of attorney both with their maiden name as their middle name and their birth certificate. Because the federal government routinely uses women's maiden names as their middle name even when they don't.
Exactly, and so you want to be on top of that. And we frequently have a big money-centered bank, brokerage, whoever say, well, you're not who this says it, and just silly stuff that shouldn't be, but it is. So.
Well, and so you need to eliminate the opportunity for people to create a problem for you. And these money center banks, the reason the lawyers went to the legislature, not only banks but brokerage houses, insurance companies, we went to the legislature because we had to get a document that they had to take.
Yeah, but even then, it's sometimes a challenge. So you just want to strive to make your paperwork as perfect as possible and keep it up to date.
One of the things that we require is to see copies of the driver's license for the people who are appointed as the agent. And the reason for it is the parent gives a woman oftentimes their name, but that's not what's on their driver's license, and now you're going to have a problem using that power of attorney because that's the ID they're going to request.
Exactly, and I'd say that's the biggest edit we do to documents because the parent thinks that Sally Sue is Sally Sue, and yet we're changing it because now Sally's Mary, or whatever she wants to call herself.
But most financial institutions will accept a driver's license, so we want to make sure we match up with that driver's license, and that's really the key.
Right.
We have another problem with junior. We have a lot of men drop junior because, well, my father's dead, I'm no longer junior. And I said, well, take a look at that birth certificate. What does it have on there?
That's exactly right, and you've got to be consistent. And you may want to think about being consistent across the board on all your assets and everything you have your name on. That document should match those assets, or you may have a problem.
So what we'll actually do in that case is we'll use the gentleman's, both his name with junior and without junior, because all it takes is some clerk to have dropped junior, and the next thing you know, you have a legal document out there that doesn't match the power of attorney.
Right, so it doesn't hurt to have the also known as the AKAs, lefty, red, whatever it takes to make it complete.
And similarly, you know, we have people that don't like their given first name, so they use an initial, and then their middle name is their first name, and so we'll oftentimes, you know, put C, you know, that name and something like that. So the reality is, we ask a lot of questions. What names have you used? And to be certain that we try to either get them all on that power of attorney, or if there's something that doesn't match, tell them to get that thing changed. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem.
Exactly. So again, these are some important issues. Use the right form and use the right name, and you can eliminate a lot of problems.
And yet oftentimes, you know, people just rely on the information that the person gave them, and that information may be correct today, but was not correct 20 years ago when they did a document differently then.
Right, and oftentimes those are the little things that bottleneck planning and moving forward in the long-term care world.
Tom, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
You're welcome.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Few things in life are as important as family. Leave your insurance orders to us. Write Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
Every life that meets its end leaves a heart for love to mend. Sister, brother, family, friends are left to carry on. When the loss seems more than you can bear, it's nice to know that we'll be there at Douglas A. Fiery Funeral Home. We care.
Call Ed Lowe to help put your mind at ease.
Welcome to the special guest feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various issues which are of importance to the retirement community. With me today is David Kukor, Memory Cafe. Welcome to the show, David.
Oh, thank you very much for having me today.
David, I know while you have a lot of other enterprises you're involved in, including home health care, you have a personal passion to improve the social life of people suffering from dementia, and you've created this Memory Cafe. Not a bricks and mortar cafe, but an opportunity for socialization. Tell me a little about it.
Well, it started about 6 years ago. It's been 6 years now, and I actually it was handed over to me by somebody else. They said, hey, could you do this? And at first I was like, wow, okay. But it's once a month, every fourth Thursday of the month. We meet at 11:30. We're currently at Otterbein Church on Franklin Street, and it's just been great. They have a great space for us. We have people coming in every month, and it's just been phenomenal these last 6 years. We've bounced around a little bit in Hagerstown, but we've landed there. They were gracious enough to allow us the space.
And what it is it's a pure socialization opportunity. One of the great problems that people have is people begin to suffer dementia. You know, there's a sense that I don't fit, and so this is an opportunity for both the caregiver and the person suffering to go and be normal.
Right, and it gives them the opportunity to come out and have a fun time, and that's what we're all about. I do little presentations. I have these
Now,
little
presentations. We're not talking about legal or finance or stuff. I
No.
know next month we're talking about tomato seeds.
Right. Yes, I have my tomato program every April. We do. I grow tomatoes by seeds. In fact, I'm starting up shortly with that, and we'll hand out tomato plants. And we'll go through the year talking about the tomatoes, along with other fun topics. It's just come out, have a good time, enjoy a little food. We have a sponsor each month, one of our local healthcare providers or business that wants to sponsor us, and it's a very small cost to them. We have Weiss Foods here on Dual Highway and Eastern Boulevard. They provide the food for us. So we have a nice little lunch. It's free to the people that come and participate. There's no obligation. You can come anytime you want. Just give me a call, let me know so we can make sure we have the space available.
Now, nice and slow, the phone number.
301-639-3166.
And the primary reason for a reservation is to make sure you have enough food there to feed everybody.
Correct,
Not to get
yes,
ambushed on
yes.
not having enough food.
Yes, and we're always looking for more people to stop out and just experience it. And generally when people come and do it, they're back the next month. And it's exciting and fun. It really is.
Very low key.
It is. It's just most of the people have told me that my presentations are just fun for them, and it spurs old memories. We talk a lot. I encourage the participation from the people to talk about old memories, and I've just been flattered and humbled by the experience, and I'm looking forward to many years going forward.
And oftentimes people are concerned that, number one, if they go to an event like that, somebody's going to pull out an application, try to sell them something.
No, I discourage any, our sponsors that do it each month, I discourage them from trying to push anything on them. They're there strictly just to give back to the community. And, that's what I look for from them.
And so the programs are easy. It's easy for a person who might be in mid-stage dementia to still participate and enjoy it.
Yes, very much so. We have ample parking, easy to get into Otterbein, a wonderful just place where we're doing it and holding it. And it's just been a great thing for people to come in. And I'm always looking for more people in the Hagerstown area, and maybe on the outskirts too, to come out and try it, and bring a family member. They're more than welcome to come in. We're not any kind of group that is. I'm not giving out information. We're just there to have a fun time.
All right, so that's 11:30, fourth Thursday of each month, Otterbein United Methodist Church on Franklin Street, and the cost is how much?
Zero, nothing.
Zero.
It's free.
And the phone number?
301-639-3166.
David, great service. Thanks for appearing on our program.
Thank you very much.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Tranquillity at Fredericktowne Assisted Living and Memory Care provides a warm, home-like atmosphere that promotes daily life enrichment. At Tranquillity, our medical director is a geriatric physician. Our professionals support and understand the various stages associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. We have on-site physical, occupational, and speech therapists, as well as around-the-clock licensed nurses. For more information, give Tranquillity at Fredericktowne a call today, because everyone deserves great care. Let us do the caregiving so you and your loved one can embrace life again.
Come on, Dad, let's go! We're gonna be late! Hurry!
Just one more bid on HurleyAuctions.com. If you haven't visited HurleyAuctions.com, you don't know what you're missing. Whether you're buying or selling, antique cars, tractors, boats, or real estate, you can do it all at HurleyAuctions.com.
Get to know Dr. Carrie Hesley at Diagnostic Imaging Services.
What I find most rewarding is caring for women through our Women's Imaging Center. We have a caring staff that will ease patients through an ultrasound, bone densitometry, breast biopsy, or mammogram. Our health team is sensitive to emotions involved in women's imaging and understands that every woman is at risk for breast cancer. Providing the community with a center that is so dedicated to breast health and the imaging needs of women is something special.
DIS Women's Imaging Center, providing women with progressive care.
Welcome to Contemporary Health Scene. Contemporary Health Scene focuses on the health issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Bridget Keefe, Community Relations Director, Tranquillity of Fredericktowne. Welcome to the show, Bridget.
Thanks, Mike.
Bridget, you and I spend an awful lot of time really focused on trying to make certain that a person, as they begin to lose capacity, is both fully engaged, safe, and as healthy as they can be.
That's right, and that they understand their options too.
And when we talk about fully engaged, oftentimes people think as they begin to lose their ability to stay at home, it automatically means they're going to lose control of their lives.
Right, and if that is not the case, when you are at home, you do become trapped, and you almost have less control than if you had somebody to help you.
We oftentimes say that if for some reason you're unable to drive safely any longer, that you're sitting in that house and you're waiting for somebody to show up. And granted, some of our viewing area, there's Uber, but most of our retired citizens are not going to use it, so they're waiting for a child to show up.
Right, and there's only so much Wheel of Fortune you can watch before life gets pretty boring and dull if nobody shows up.
If you're really lucky, you can switch channels and watch it.
That's right.
Get all the answers right.
There you go.
but the answer is that it's really focused on keeping people fully engaged, having a full quality of life. And one of the things that we find is that socialization is the single most important aspect of a person being satisfied later in life.
And that's true, but it's also true, you and I can say that, but from a scientific research standpoint, socialization and activity really do stave off cognitive decline.
We're going to have Director Greg pull up some pictures here, but the reality is that, and when we say socialization, we don't just mean playing bingo. What we have here is a pony.
We've got a pony, yeah. And the interesting thing is that this pony was abused. So for this pony to come visit everybody at Tranquillity is therapeutic not only for the residents, but for the pony as well.
A little poker game here.
Yep. Yeah, there is poker. No clothes off, so I guess it's the straight-laced kind. But yeah, everybody's playing poker.
And, and part of it is that, if you like playing poker in your 20s and 30s, chances are you still like it.
Right. That's correct.
That's what do we have going on here?
We made a scarecrow to promote the Alzheimer's walk, and these ladies are very attached to it.
And so part of it is keeping people engaged,
right.
and we find that for instance that your facility is a beautiful facility, but oftentimes we'll find people, if they're in a facility in which they know people and they've been engaged with them in a prior life, they're completely content. It really doesn't matter what else is going on. Socialization is that important.
That's correct. Yes.
Now one of the things about Maryland is that Maryland 20 years ago did not license assisted living facilities. Mm-hmm. And in fact, they were essentially just glorified babysitting. But today it is a totally different environment.
It is. We're fully licensed by the state. We're actually a level 3 provider, which means we can give really extended care that you wouldn't have seen even 2 years ago.
And I oftentimes caution people that this preconceived notion about the level of service that can be delivered in assisted living has just been totally changed. And the reality is very straightforward. The government wants to cut its nursing home population. The way it cuts its nursing home population is not trying to get rid of the sickest of the sick, but to lower the standards that they will allow to go into, increase it actually, so that assisted living can deliver more care.
Right. Feeding tubes, for instance, we couldn't do even 3 years ago, and now we can.
And catheters, and all, you can't do ventilators, but you can do a tremendous amount of services. And the fact is, in the previous times, is if a person, had some mobility issues, it automatically meant a nursing home.
Right, and now we have caregivers who will literally push someone in a wheelchair to activities, to the dining room, to get on the bus, anything like that.
In the meantime, having an independent apartment, you know, control of your life, you know, the ability to come and go as you please. You're not in a semi-private nursing home room, which is what everybody thinks. It's just an alternative, independent living arrangement that provides support.
Right, and I always tell families, this is not your grandmother's nursing home. You can do whatever, if it's legal, you know, grandma can have it in her apartment.
So if she can drive, she can still drive.
Right.
If her doctor says a cocktail's all right,
then she can have a cocktail in her apartment or with others.
So the reality is it's designed to increase independence,
Yes.
not reduce independence.
Increase independence and foster that sense that I can make choices.
And how can they get a hold of you?
They can call 301-668-6030 or pop in.
Bridget, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
Thank you, Mike.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
The Community Foundation continues to create great impact in Frederick County, thanks to generous donors. As our community evolves, so do we. While we don't have a real crystal ball that can predict the future, we are poised and ready to see things differently and help nonprofits, city and county agencies, civic groups, faith-based organizations, businesses, families, and individuals to solve problems within our community.
Albright, Crumbacker, Mal & Idtel are a full-service firm that provides elder care services including managing incoming bills, bill payment, depositing checks, balancing bank statements, and preparing, planning, and filing personal tax returns. Put your mind at ease and call us today.
Welcome to the Making Sense feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various financial issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Pete Alexander, a partner in the regional accounting firm of Albright, Crumbacker, Mal & Idtel with offices in Hagerstown and Martinsburg. Welcome to the show, Pete.
Great to be here, Mike.
Pete, we talked a little last week about the new tax law. Let's do a quick recap of that and then talk about some of the new strategies that have to be approached because of some of the loss of personal deductions.
Well, a quick overview of the new tax law. Basically, the two lowest rates, which were 10 and 15%, the 10% rate remains. That's on about the first $19,000 for a married couple. After that, the 15% rate drops down to 12%, and so does every other rate after that. It drops exactly 3 percentage points down. As far as the other big change, especially the ones that affect our retirement community, the big change there is your itemized deductions. You only get to deduct $10,000 in state tax. You still get to deduct your medical the same way, anything that exceeds 7.5% of your adjusted gross income. You still fully get to deduct charity, and your state income tax, you're limited to deducting only $10,000 income tax and real estate taxes all combined.
But one of the challenges here is with the change of the standard deduction and so forth, many people who might have previously itemized are not going to be itemizing.
Yeah, well, as we said last show, a married couple gets $24,000 of a standard deduction. So until you add up all of your charity, all of your state taxes, and you add up all of your medical that exceeds 7.5%, a lot of people are going to be rolling in at around $20,000, and they're going to say, well, heck, $24,000 is better than $24,000, so I'll take the $24,000 standard deduction.
And so you also have lost that individual exemption amount, but when you total it all in for a married couple, the new law is slightly better.
Yeah, the new law will end up being slightly better for most individuals, especially with the 3% tax cut. There are going to be some people that were itemizing, and like we said, you do lose the $4,100 standard or personal exemption. That's the other thing for a married couple over 65. They do give you, I keep saying $24,000, but if both husband and wife are over 65, they each get another $1,000 standard deduction, kind of like they gave you that $1,000 before. So I guess I keep saying 24, but a married couple would actually get $26,000 as a standard deduction, assuming they're 65 or over.
But one of the things that people need to be paying attention to now is if they have a pattern of making charitable gifts, they might actually not make charitable gifts in one year and then load them up the following year or perhaps accelerate them. Why would that be important?
Yeah, like in our example, $26,000 standard deduction for somebody over 65. If they have $6,000 in state tax every year, their real estate taxes and their state income tax, and every year they're giving $20,000 to charity, That's $26,000. So they're really getting no benefit from the charitable deduction because they get a $26,000 standard deduction. So let's say one year they make no charity. Well, they get $6,000 state tax. They say, nope, 26 is better. They take a $26,000 standard deduction. Next year, they double up their charity. Instead of giving the normal 20, they give 40. So now they've got the 40,000 charity, 6,000 state tax. So now they're going to take the itemized deduction, which is going to give them $20,000 bonus. So over 2 years, they're going to get $20,000 more deductions than they otherwise would by alternating their charitable giving to an every other year pattern. And remember, January 1st, December 31st are 2 different years. So you can do that and give 2 days apart if you really want.
So we got to be paying attention to this stuff, and this brings home a point that we're going to be making all through the year. When does tax planning for 2018 begin?
It has now begun. Okay, as soon as you get your prior year taxes done, you should start by looking at that return and seeing what avenues are available, seeing what things you may have missed. Because just because you missed something last year doesn't mean you have to continue to miss it. So then you should commit all year long to trying to figure out what is the best way to keep your hard-earned money in your pocket.
Yeah, we oftentimes caution people, the same as we do in the legal business. We're not in the business of selling forms. We're in the business of selling consulting services.
Yeah, I mean, doing your tax return is pretty much automatic once you get to that point for most individuals. They're not that complicated. What you hire your tax accountant, tax attorneys to do is you hire them to advise you to maximize your wealth, and a lot of that is the planning process, because once December 31st hits, you're done for the year. There's not much other than making IRA contributions and some health savings account contributions that you can do after December 31st that will help that prior year's tax return.
All right, Pete, as always, I want to thank you for taking time to appear on our program.
Great to be here, Mike.
Thank you from Contemporary Retirement.
Remember a more carefree time? Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
These days, it seems like everything's online, and filling out claim forms and receiving and paying bills online isn't always easiest. That's why we at Quality First Insurance encourage you to just give us a call. Let us help.
Hi there, I'm Paul Sweeney with Quality First Insurance, and it's still just this simple. Our offices are open every weekday where you'll be able to call and speak to real, live people.
No detail was missed. I'm so glad that I turned to Quality First Insurance.
I've recommended Quality First Insurance to my friends who've been just as satisfied.
If you're not happy with what you're paying for Medigap, or more importantly, not happy with your service, give us a try. We're locally owned, and we take the time to provide you with the best. We are Quality First Insurance, and our mission is to provide quality products to quality people. Pick up the phone and give us a call today at 800-745-1411.